All right, a little bit of the agenda for tonight. Welcome to those of you as well who are joining us online. We're glad that you're here as well. As always, you can leave questions in the chat. If you have them along the way, you don't have to wait till the Q&R time at the end. You can ask your questions now or whenever they arise, and we'll get to them when we get to the Q&R at the end. So, Chris, you have to go back to ProPresenter and click on the slide so that I can click and control. There we go. So our agenda, an update, couple ministry updates. Heather for Chapel Kids, Luke for Emmaus Youth. Chris is going to talk a little bit about deacons and some things going on in that realm, as well as we might hear from a couple of our deacons. We will hear from a couple of our deacons. A financial update. We'll talk a little bit about the cash out projects that have been going on and that are wrapping up. Jenny's going to give an update on groups and how we're looking for the rest of the year that way. We'll talk a little bit about the admin job posting that's available. We'll have some time for Q&R, and then we will pray and wrap it up. So that's a little bit of the plan. So we'll get started. Heather, you are up. Yes.
Hello. Okay, cool. I just wanted to take a few minutes to share what's happening in Chapel Kids and where we're headed this fall. There's a summer update, so just a reminder that our 4th and 5th grade room is going to be closed. We're going to have them joining main worship for the summer months, and we'll reopen in the fall. There's two hopes behind this. First, we want to help our older elementary students become familiar and comfortable with the rhythms of worship and the lesson. And as well as it provides a well-deserved season of rest for some of our teachers who've invested in these students all year. So we're grateful for both the opportunity to help our kids grow and the opportunity to care for our volunteers. Looking ahead to the fall, we're excited to share that we're using Meredith Miller's curriculum in our elementary classrooms, and we're going to introduce the curriculum in the 3 and 4-year-old room for the first time. So yeah, that's exciting. One of the things I appreciate most about this curriculum is that it recognizes how children actually learn through relationship, repetition, play, wonder, and experience. Rather than teaching at kids nonstop, it helps us create spaces where kids can engage Bible stories, ask questions, build relationships with caring adults, and discover that God can be trusted. Because our kids spend a significant amount of time with us on Sunday mornings, we don't believe the most effective use of our time is to teach the entire time, but to have connection built in so they can build relationship with trusted adults as well. The curriculum helps us focus on what is developmentally appropriate for each age group while creating space for kids to discover who God is and that he can be trusted. It also provides a parent resource each week that I'll be able to send out to parents so you can continue the conversation with your kiddos. Next, I wanted to share that we have experienced some volunteer transitions over the past year, and we're feeling that gap a bit. Rather than simply asking people to fill openings, we're inviting people to prayerfully consider whether this might be a season to invest in the faith formation of our children. We deeply value people choosing to serve from a place of calling and joy, not obligation. This isn't about filling slots. It's about discerning where God may be inviting you to use your gifts in service to the next generation. We know that it would be a huge blessing to us and our littlest ones. So if you have ever wondered whether Chapel Kids might be a place for you, I'd love to have a conversation, meet for coffee or something. And then the last thing is we're introducing a new volunteer role called a Chapel Kids Buddy. One of our core values is that every child would experience Chapel Kids as a place where they are known, safe, and loved. For some children, especially those who are neurodivergent or who find the classroom setting more challenging, an extra trusted adult can make a huge difference. So a buddy is not responsible for teaching curriculum on Sunday mornings, but just kind of relationships, sitting alongside children, helping them navigate transitions, celebrating successes, noticing when they're overwhelmed, and providing like a steady, caring presence for them. And if you love children but don't necessarily see yourself teaching a lesson, this might be a beautiful way to serve. Some of the most important ministry we do happens through simple, consistent relationships. So, yeah, that's all I have.
What is the cash bonus involved with volunteering?
You can't volunteer, so why are you asking? Yeah, lots of snacks, overflowing snacks, and bubbles.
Bonus in goldfish. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah.
Luke.
Okay, so ditto. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah, a couple things. I don't have much to talk about apart from, just the fact that we're transitioning into summer. And we have summer camp to look forward to, and with those transitions, we have some gaps to fill as well. But first, I just want to say, how incredibly grateful I am. I don't think I've gotten a chance to be up in front of you all to say, thank you for the ways in which you really showed up for our community for the Time and Talent auction. We were able to raise nearly $11,000, which does a whole lot for our summer camp effort. It lowers the cost for everybody by a minimum of $50, as well as creates scholarship opportunities for people. Families have reached out who, somebody in their community wants to come who's not a part of the church, but it would be awesome to gift them. And so we're able to have these conversations with actual power behind them, and not just being yeah, we'd love to do something, but we can actually do it because you guys have shown up for us in a massive way. So thank you. I'm finding out more and more how lucky I am to be a part of this community. And asking for help is difficult. It's not innate to me. I'm a kind of put the backpack on and just do it myself, by myself. And so inviting people in and learning that, oh, this is how it was intended to be, that I can trust my friends and family here to shoulder these ideas with me together. So as I'm growing in my faith and learning how to ask for help, I'm going to ask for help again right now. This summer represents kind of a transition for a lot of folks and families who've been involved with the youth ministry over the years. Some are transitioning in and they're interested in being involved, and others are needing some time away and to kind of reprioritize time and think about the things that are going on in their lives, whether family or work stuff. So we've got some people coming and some people going. And it's aptly timed because we're going into the summer flow, which is very different than our normal Tuesday stuff. With our summer calendar rolling out, we're going to be doing a lot of fun things like going to the park and finding a swimming hole and having worship out at the farm and different things like that. Anyways, I am wondering if anyone here has had it, or anyone online has had it in their heart. Maybe God has been doing something inside of you, and you've been wondering, kind of like I was about a year ago, Lord, if there's something more that you would have me to do, something different in the ways that I could use my time and my abilities to bless you, and also invest in people that I may know, that I may not know as well. I just want to make myself available to that. And lo and behold, this thing came right to me and said, okay, here I am. So if you've been praying prayers like that, and you've been saying Lord, give me a sign, here I am. I am a living, breathing billboard for a really, really great opportunity. And I'm not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. Every Tuesday is the best day of my week. I'm here all day. I am giddy, excited with anticipation for what the evening will shape up to be. Students start rolling in, and we have the most funny conversations. Amanda supplies us with the most delicious treats. And for the first 20 minutes, we're just kind of yeah, just excavating the days out of people. Like, how was your day? What's going on? What are you concerned about? What's exciting? Gassing each other up, laughing. Then we come upstairs and we talk about something, and then we split into small groups and we talk about it even more. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's so, so good. So yeah, we're talking, let's see, here we go. We're talking, I had a whole list of items that if you want to get involved, yeah, we're talking snacks, we're talking games, we're talking deep conversations, hearing different perspectives as we gather around the wisdom of Scripture, leading us ultimately into discipleship with Christ. Students are growing, adults are growing, we're staying young, we're learning new vernacular. Last week, the kids taught me what the term big back means. I don't know if it's good. I'm probably shouldn't even have said it into a microphone. But yeah, I'm not positive I know what that means, so yikes. But we're learning new vernacular together, and it's awesome. Yeah, I'll stop selling because, you don't need me to convince you that working with young people is important. We know it's important. It's probably the most important thing we do. And so, yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, there is, no age limit, just that you'd be like at least in your 20s. Yeah, come talk to me, and I'd love to kind of point you in the direction. This summer, as I said, we're doing all these fun things as a group, and so that would be a good chance for you to come check out the vibes. Like, see if it's for you, if you're interested in, yeah? Oh, I can. Are you volunteering? Okay, I actually have. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So that is great. So yeah, it looks like, truthfully, it looks like showing up at 6:40 on a Tuesday, and kind of getting a sense for what it is we're doing. We're also talking about it off and on throughout the week, kind of in a group text thread. And then, so yeah, hopefully we're not going in totally blind on a Tuesday, but like this last 4 weeks we've been doing a curriculum, so it was kind of like, same as last week. Okay, break, and then we go, so 6:40, and then 7 p.m. is when the gathering begins, and students start coming in. And like I said, it's 20 minutes of sort of like invitation and welcome, and then, yeah, we get out of here, or then we go upstairs and do the remainder of the time together, and then for the last 20 minutes in small groups, and then we're out the door by 8:30. I am not out the door by 8:30. I'm here till about 10, or as long as people want to stay, because that's, like I said, my favorite part of the week is just to be with the students. But then we also have like leaders gatherings quarterly or maybe bi-monthly. Is that about right? Does that seem like the frequency-ish? Yeah. Last time we got together and we made pizza. So it's just kind of like, yeah, check-ins to see how everyone's doing. And then if possible, I like to meet with each of the leaders as well, here and there. But it looks like a consistent Tuesday night flow. And, we're really flexible. People come and go. But for the majority, we have at least 10 people here every Tuesday night. And that is necessary because we have anywhere from 45 to 70 kids, so we're playing zone defense. So, yeah, that's about all. One thing as well that I would probably just like to mention before handing this off, because we were able to raise money, in case some of you have already talked to me and have been worried about the camp drive situation, we've got that figured out. I have figured out charter buses, so we are not going to be driving 30 cars to and from Olympia. But if any of you have interest in being a camp counselor, I could really use a couple more adults. It would be really, really fun. So let me know. I'm not singling anyone out, but yeah, who's next? Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
I'll intro a little bit. Thanks, Luke. Chris is going to come up and talk about deacons a little bit. I wanted to, just before he does, give a little bit of a review of this. Post-COVID was really when we were like, we need deacons at Union Chapel, and so we formed a deacon team. And that team in many ways has been kind of self-leading, and that's a hard thing to place on a group without a specific leader. And so this year, at the beginning of the year, we made the decision to put kind of the leadership of the deacon team under Chris's purview. And so this is very much a part of his role now. And so Chris is going to talk a little bit about what this year has looked like for him, some of the changes that have arrived, and then he's going to talk a little bit about the needs that are there, and then give space for a couple of our deacons to share with you about stuff that's going on.
I did not see Luke bringing that kind of fire at 5 o'clock on this particular day. I've been I've been working with the deacons since the beginning of the year. It's been super fun. And I'm excited about it. I'm super blessed by the work that they're doing and the ways that they care for our community in a whole bunch of different ways. It's shepherding and loving and really beautiful. And to be kind of the person in the middle of that and kind of jumping in has looked so far like about 4 different meetings a year that are just based on building relationship and spending time together. And so we've done one of those already. That was a dinner at our house, which was just really enjoyable and kind of a time of connecting and just being able to build relationships, and then meeting with the individual deacons on a consistent rotation. So I've done that and met with each one already, and I'm going to meet with them all again, which they're all probably like, oh gosh, we just did this. But and that's really more kind of honed in on just how do you pastorally kind of care, listen, hear what's going on in their lives, get to just kind of talk, pray with some of them, listen to the things that they're excited about in the next season, and kind of talk about what they're looking forward to, and then just dream a little bit with each one of the individuals on the deacon team about what could be, and not even within the limitations of what they themselves can bring, but like what could they imagine those ministries being and developing into. And so that's been a lot of fun for me and just exciting, I think. Not sure if they've enjoyed it as much, but I've really enjoyed it. The other part that we're doing is 4 times a year we're doing a meeting that is more focused in on kind of the organization of it. So looking at the strengths and weaknesses and challenges and opportunities within those, and we do those together as a team. So far in our Q1 meeting, we got to strengths and weaknesses, and we didn't get to any further along on the SWOT. But we're going to do that in the next quarter. But that was just a great meeting of just going like, here are some really beautiful things that have been happening within the church. Because I think a big part of serving in church ministry world is that there's often a lot of really good things happening, and often we don't realize that those things are happening. So there's all kinds of people serving and caring for and loving in our community and giving generously to others and bringing meals and like hospitality and all the stuff that's happening week in and week out. Like, we need to celebrate. And so a big part of that, I think, for the deacon team is going like, we can celebrate these things together. Look at the strengths, look at the things that are happening, and let's be excited about those things and let's celebrate those. The first pastor that I ever served with used to do this thing where he would just lay out a whole bunch of 3x5 cards, foot 3x whatever, large cards on the wall, poster board, and we would just fill those out with talking about what had happened in the church in that last season, and then just kind of give thanks and express gratitude around those things. And I've just always thought that's a really healthy practice. So just kind of going like, yeah, let's celebrate the wins together. That's some of what we're doing and just continuing to do. Encourage you guys just to be praying over that, and for other people that are interested in being a part of it. Like Adam mentioned, we have 2 deacon places that have kind of opened up over the last season. Actually, one of them is a potentially brand new role, and that would be like a deacon of missions, local and globally. So a deacon that would just kind of serve in that area of like overseeing that. So if that's something that you guys are interested in or know someone who is interested in that, just a heart to serve local and global missions. And then the other one is Jerry Kremer, who served so amazingly over the last year, stepping out of deacon of finance, and so looking at a potential new deacon of finance to kind of step in and kind of fill her shoes in that way. And then I'm going to invite Jess up because he's going to talk just a little bit about hospitality. He's got some things he wants to say about that.
Hello. Cool. So
Hospitality team, I think was it a Sunday morning I talked about it? It's all blurring together. So yeah, if you want to volunteer in hospitality team, it's simple. You get here early, you get to set things up. The one change we're thinking about, kind of leaning into that, is separating setup from teardown, and as I talk about it, that could include. Let me look at it from like the setting up communion standpoint. You get here half an hour early, and you're likely staying here half an hour late, and that's been a pretty big deterrent for a number of families. Like some can't really get here early logistically, and some it would just be way better if you didn't have to spend the time cleaning up. So we're going to find a way to hopefully split that up into 2 different teams, because it seems like there's a lot of teenagers that linger here for 45 minutes after anyway. So employing them to tear things down, like they don't mind it. Like teenagers, youth, a good portion of them that they like to feel a part of it, and getting to do something with their hands is being a part of it. I think of Silas Laporte, Calvin, they're always helping do something on Tuesday nights. Gosh, especially, yeah, Silas and Mia really actually end up setting everything up. It seems like Amanda's just the coordinator of it. That's a win. That's a big part of the Tuesday night hospitality right there. So beyond that, like that's probably the biggest logistic change. But I want to kind of provide a little bit more of an invitation, like kind of speak about hospitality from a cultural level as a whole, and mostly just through highlighting the people that I think really do different aspects of hospitality really well. I think of, did you guys notice a couple months ago when the bread for communion just kind of got better? That's because that's because my brother would make the bread. He just got into a bread kick, and he said like, let's make a couple loaves. And yeah, Jack, I know you're not watching this, but this is permanent somewhere. I'll send him that clip. And then I think of Glenn when he brings produce every year. When he has produce, he always leaves a big crate of it open. My mom's brought pears from our pear tree once because my dad and I didn't want to do anything with them. So they ended up here. Like that's a core piece of hospitality. You don't have to say hi to anybody. You don't have to greet anybody. You don't have to hold a conversation for more than 5 seconds. You just bring things that you have to enrich the lives of those around you. The Summer Sizzler on the complete opposite side of the spectrum is the Weinbergs. Excellent hosts. Things like that. You don't need an announcement from the stage, but like doing things like that it's worth thanking them for those. That's really where that was a strong connecting point for me in my first year at Union Chapel. And yeah, I mean, I got locked in a conversation for like an hour and a half with Brad Harper at one of those, and that was one of the best Sunday afternoons ever. So as you're thinking about hosting, like, yeah, thinking that maybe just broaden the spectrum of who you're inviting, like a little bit at a time, and some really cool things happen from there. And the last thing is a little bit more of a plea, and I think that's a big conviction on my heart as I've been leaning into cultural things in every avenue of my life, is like how much culture really does end up asking of you. It's not a lot, but it is something to kind of reorient you a little bit, and some of that is through me admiring my friend Michael Williams. You guys met Michael? He runs sound every now and then. Allie's on staff. His wife Allie's on staff. And Michael does the best job of finding the young adults that he has not met yet, particularly unfamiliar faces, and he is often the first person to greet them. And I admire that so much because I am actually terrible at that, and also like that is a core level of hospitality that I think isn't something you can really ascribe to a team member very well, or give them a planning center invite to do things like that, but rather just if we want that to be that part of hospitality, like that invitation, that first step in to be a piece of our culture, then I think that's something that even if just like one person per decade age bracket does it per week, then that really covers all the bases. We don't have like new people flooding in the doors. It's just a couple new faces every week. And even if they don't stick around, like I did my fair bit of church hopping in my young adult years, and I remember the moments where the people just said, I don't care if you stay, it's good to see you, I'm this, talk to me if you want to talk. Things like that. That plays such a big role in cultivating culture. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Thanks, bro. One more thing I wanted to mention just really quickly. Over the summer, we have a few people that are just taking a break from writing prayers of the people. And so if you have any interest, or anyone at home has any interest in being a part of that team, They're beautiful shaping, centering practice that we do week in and week out. And if you'd like to be a part of the writing team, love to have you talk to me or Alyssa Zimmerman. So that's all I got.
Yeah, Dana's going to give a financial update. Dana is our interim board chairman. What's that? Yeah, do you want to move here? I'll give you the clicker. You can be in power.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I get to, oh, that's scary. Oh,
Yeah. The green button is forward.
yeah, I'll have to stop laughing at people who have trouble up here now after this. So, yeah, well, the good news is it's really great to see all of you here tonight on a warm summer night. And as a prize, Jenny told me that Tim's willing to buy us all ice cream afterwards, which is great. So thank you, Jenny and Tim. So anyway, yeah, got to catch them. That's could be the hard part. So anyway, yeah. So, so I drew the long straw in the elders this week to be able to give this report. You've probably heard the saying about drawing the short straw. Well, we all love giving the financial report in elders. It's a highlight for us, so I'm the winner, and that's a good thing. So actually, I think this is probably going to be more of an advertisement for our need for a deacon of finance than anything else. But anyway, I'm delighted to be here and share a little bit, and it's always great to get everybody caught up a little bit and celebrate the goodness of God and his faithfulness through one another in terms of giving, and also share our needs too in that process too. So let's dive in for that, and I'll do the best I can to try to get us where we need to go. And I'm going to back out of the picture a little bit. Hope that's not a problem for those online, just so I can see this and you can see it as well. So this is a summary of our monthly giving for general things. So it includes really restricted or designated things like the youth giving that was highlighted, the nearly 11,000 that was generously given. And it's January through June. We're not quite, let's see. Yeah, no, we're not quite through June yet. So that's interesting. That's a projection, right? Yeah, that's okay. That's a projection there. That's totally funded there. The line at 60,000, the 2026 budget shows you if everything was, straight lined, then our need would be $60,000 per month. And as is the case, typically giving goes up and down, and you can see that highlighted with, that's not, what is that, periwinkle color and yellow, gold, something like that. So shows you 23 and 24 compared to the blue in 25 where we're shaping our own year. So it always varies a little bit, and we're on a similar track as we've been the last couple years. Of course, we know that giving at year end is a priority for a lot of people and a practice, and so we're used to seeing that spike there. But so that's the story there. All right, we move on to the next one. This is really a comparison for the several months, the 5 months completed of the income, which is the green, and the expenses, which is the red, by month. And you can see that really in essentially every month until May, expenses outpaced income. And so we end up with some shortfall. And to the right there is the summary, the 226 in income minus the 283 in expenses leaves us a deficit technically of about 57,000. So we're a little behind where we really would love to be, but we are used to that kind of ebb and flow. So it is definitely something to be aware of, and we want to encourage people to be faithful in their stewardship as they're considering their giving to the church and the needs throughout the whole year. So the question is always, well, can we handle being $57,000 in a shortfall or other amounts throughout the year? Yeah, we can. And one reason that we can is because the strategy has been to try to have somewhere between 3 and 4 months of reserves available. And that's a really good practice to have. And we're very fortunate to be well on that. 3 months is a pretty good number. 4 months would be ideal, but 3 months is really pretty good. So we do have the cash to be able to cover those shortfalls 1 month to the next. Okay, and then here's just a kind of another summary looking at a lot of the same information presented differently. And you've got the income in the top part of this table, the expenses in the bottom. And so it shows a little bit of a breakdown of those in this particular chart. And this excludes, just so you know, again, this is just what we consider general operating income and expenses. So the youth camp and what we call the cash out items, which are capital projects. And Adam, you're talking about that next, or am I? Okay, good. All right. Adam's going to be talking about that in just a minute to kind of give you an update on that. But that's money that we pulled out of our cash that was in the building, our equity that was in this building when some work was done on the mortgage last year. About $100,000 to work on some capital projects. Adam's going to talk about those in just a minute. So you can see tithes and offering, that's the primary source. The other sources of income are a lot less, of course. And then, as you would expect, really our staff is the heart of the budget, and they're the heart and soul of the budget. And so they're the ones that really make up the bulk of the costs there. Everything else is really ministry-oriented, building costs for this space as well. So anyway, that's a quick summary. I think that's the last one, right? Yeah. So that's a summary, and I don't know, you want to do questions later, or yeah, we'll hold questions until a little bit later. All right, there you go, Adam.
Thanks. I can hang on to that. Sorry about that first slide. I muted it, but would have been my mic. Everything else is muted. So I don't know what's going on. Thanks, Dana. Yeah, would love to give just a little bit of an update. You've probably seen some changes around the building the last few months and weeks and days, and so I wanted to talk just a little bit about that. As Dana mentioned, our elders made the decision to take $100,000 from our equity out to be able to do some capital improvements on the building that were needed, and we refinance every 5 years, and so there's kind of a window for that if we wanted to look at that. We were able to work that in this last time around. So a couple of things just to kind of highlight what's been done. This isn't down to like every last little thing, but these are the major projects that have been completed or started. So we did interior door upgrades with kind of getting all of our main doors on fire safety magnets. We've been using door stops. The fire marshal was like, you cannot do that. We'd love to be able to have some doors that remain open, and so we were able to get those installed. Lucas installed a wonderful camera entry, which has just made a huge impact on the life of our staff, being able to let people into the building remotely, having a bunch of different ways of being able to grant access to the building to people who are using it in restricted time frames and all kinds of stuff that way. And so that's been a huge bump. You've probably seen our kitchen remodel, which was a big portion of the funds. Our exterior sign, which I still feel like I don't see very often, and it has to do with the fact that you can't cross the street. But maybe someday when the street's done, we'll be able to see that sign again. We did some office lighting upgrades so that it doesn't feel like like we're living in a doctor's office in there, and so that's was really lovely, good for morale. Some of our cash out funds went to repairing the sewer main replacement, so the connection of our sewer to the new sewer line that was run on Main Street as part of the Main Street Promise project. We covered that. Interior wayfinding signage, interior painting, which you probably saw back in the kids area, the mezzanine, the stairwell, our bathrooms, kind of getting everything caught up to that white color and getting rid of the mustard yellow or whatever that was. HVAC repairs, and then downstairs, a whole bunch of audiovisual upgrades that we were long overdue for. So a couple of things that way, and a huge shout out to Matt and to Lucas, our AV deacons, have been putting in a lot of work. Chris and Luke have been putting a lot of hours on the sanctuary the last few weeks. So a few things that we're doing. We basically have just had main cables running to our speaker sets, and that creates a lot of discrepancy in where you sit in the room and how loud or how quiet it is. And so we've purchased a processor that allows us to tune basically every single speaker that's in the arrays to be able to try and level out the room so that what you're hearing in the balcony and what you're hearing in the back of the room and what you're hearing in the front of the room are all very similar or a lot closer. Which would allow us to able to mix the room and keep levels at safe decibels and all of that sort of thing. So that's a key upgrade. If you go poke your head down there, we're making some visual upgrades as well, removing some of the sound treatment that was on the back wall. That room was really kind of over-engineered initially when it was when the improvements were done down there. Over-engineered for controlling sound. They thought they were going to have a hardwood floor, and so it's a very, just in general, kind of a dead room. There's a lot of acoustical treatments, and I don't know if you remember those very large boxes on the back wall, this wall, that just create a lot of visual busyness on that back wall, and so we decided to remove those and remove our screen. We're going to be projecting onto the wall, and we'll be able to project words on either side, so hopefully just increasing visibility for wherever you're sitting in the room. So we're looking forward to some of those things. Those are a few of them. A lot of other audiovisual upgrades that are important, but those are kind of the big ones, and so thanks to that team. Also, a quick plug, I don't know if you saw it in the email or in some of the rotating announcements, but we're generating a lot of stuff that needs to be hauled away down in that room. So if you've got a truck or a trailer and are willing to come and just at any time and help load that up and haul stuff away, we'll pay for getting stuff to the dump. But we'd love a couple volunteers for getting some of that stuff hauled away. So if you've got an interest in that, you can talk to Chris for sure. So that's a little bit of a update that way. We still have about $24,000 remaining of our cash out funds that we have some plans for the rest of the year. The idea is to kind of complete using them in 2026. And so we'll continue to keep you updated on this, but it's been a huge blessing. I think these are some really wonderful, it's actually quite a bit of work that we've been able to do with this money, and so it's been a huge blessing to be able to do that. Okay, Jenny, you are up to talk about some group stuff. You'll have to go back to the slide because I can't advance it. There we go. The microphone's over there. Yep. Yep. You're good.
I did it. It's always a question. Okay, I'm going to try and break Luke energy up here. Can I? Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, groups. That's me. So we really have kind of 3 buckets for groups here at Union Chapel. We have apprenticeship groups, home communities, and affinity groups. And part of my role on pastoral staff is to provide support for all of these different groups. So we'll start with home communities. If you're a home community leader, you will have gotten an email by now from Melanie talking about the part of her transition of stepping off staff is handing over the care of home communities to me. So I'm moving into that role of pastoral liaison with our home communities. We all know that those shoes that Melanie's unfilling will not be filled by me, but I'm really excited to to just come along and continue some of the beautiful work that you guys have created together with Melanie in those spaces. Belonging and growth, and our home communities really are the front lines of care that happens within the context of our Union Chapel, our Union Chapel individuals and families here. So excited to build on some of those rhythms, and also to have an opportunity to expand it and move in a little bit more direction. Some of my passion and hope is to be able to step more fully into our mission, vision, values through our home communities, and what just opportunities that might look like to continue some of the beautiful work that happens within our doors and continue that out into the community that's beyond our doors, and for our home communities to be able to join in some of that. So Mel and I have put our heads together over the last few months, and I've been doing audits of various home communities and how those are run at other churches, sister churches, and churches that we have affiliations with. Lots of meetings and notes and dreaming and hoping and planning and conversations that everyone will hear more about. So the weekly emails that Mel has sent out will continue. There will continue to be that connection there. There will be new pathways for belonging and missional engagement that are coming. That opportunity to be the spirit-awakened, vibrant church that's in and for the city. We're excited to see how our home communities can step in to some of those roles intentionally. Our apprenticeship groups are really our primary vehicle for discipleship in the ways of Jesus. Throughout the calendar year, we offer groups that speak to kind of a wide variety of places that we might be in our spiritual formation, right? So our discovering groups are the places that are kind of the ground level of discovering who God is. I'm currently putting one of those together right now. That'll be rolling out in the next few months. Really excited about that. Our learning groups are the deepening understanding of God and ourselves and how those relationships overlap. So our Story of God is one of those. We have quarterly guest speakers in our Story of God who goes through the Bible in an annual rhythm year-round. We have our Micah group that's starting on Monday nights. You might have seen that announcement come out. And just a plug for that, how that really came into being really was because of feedback from our community. So as we came through our prophets series that we did, our justice series, where we were looking at minor prophets, people in the community were just really loving that and wanting more. And so emails, conversations about how can we continue to study this together. And so I then went to some people in our community and said, hey, how could we do this? And so that's what that looks like. So if you have a passion about a specific area of scripture or a specific area of formation, we invite that feedback. I invite that feedback and welcome that. That is sometimes how these groups have their inception. So you can sign up for that Micah group. It's on Monday nights. I think when we looked this week, Mel, how many people we already had? There was like 14 people, I think, or something. Even more than that signed up. Yeah, more like 20. Yeah, there was a lot. And it was like 3 days after it even started, so, or 3 days after the signups even started. So that'll be on Monday nights. You can talk to me or Alan Hutchison or Sam Fredrickson if you want more information on that. Sign up on Church Center. What? Huh? Oh, that's so fun. I'm so glad it was one of you. For those of you online, our pastors are texting back and forth, and it's being noisy. Our other pastors. Thanks. I am in the text message. Shall I read it out loud, class? We are offering, so you might remember last year around this time we offered a marriage group. Imago Dei down in Portland is offering that same marriage group starting in July and has invited our community to be a part of that with them. So if you weren't able to participate last time and you don't mind driving over the bridge, they are going to be offering marriage group on Tuesday nights throughout July. And it's the same curriculum that we went through. It's the Alpha curriculum. It's really good. They have deacons that oversee marriage ministry there. Alan is a marriage counselor, actually, and they're really, really wonderful. So if you are interested in that, find me. I have all the information for sign up. There's childcare, there's food, It's a wonderful thing. So that's a group that we have. Heather, Luke, and I are putting our heads together around a parenting group that we're hoping to launch sometime fall or early winter this year as well. We had kind of siloed ways of doing that, and we were like, why don't we put our heads together and kind of figure all this out together? So we're looking at that. You've heard us talk about the Renovare opportunity that we have, our partnership. There's a course coming out that in early 2027 called Streams. That's going to be a follow-up from our Inside Out group that we offered. So we'll continue to offer that. And then also this Streams course will be available. It's based on Richard Foster's idea. There are traditions that envision fullness of life with God through contemplation, holiness, a charismatic way of engaging God, social justice stream, an evangelical stream, and an incarnational stream. So lots of really big words there, I know. You can, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I have a little bit more information on what that'll look like, and just watch that. We're really excited to be offering that upcoming. And then last but not least, our rediscovering groups are renovating our understanding of God and ourselves and our world, and space to wrestle with hard questions. We're looking at maybe pairing that with our discovering group and having different breakout discussion groups for completely new believers and then believers that are like, I'm wrestling with some of these things, but we can engage some of this content together. So that's a little glimpse of our apprenticeship groups upcoming. And then last but not least, we have our ongoing affinity groups. We have our BIPOC group that Becca just talked with her this morning. They took a little bit of a break, but they're looking at starting that. Those meetings back up again, and Play and Connect is taking a break for the summer, doing some park hangs, and they're prayerfully considering what relaunching this fall looks like. So if you want to connect with that young parenting group, young caregivers group, I'd love to put you in touch with them. We have our adult social group and our young adult social group. So if there's any affinity group that sounds like of interest to you, find me. I'd love to chat with you about it. So that's all, folks.
I'm good. Thank you. I left the clicker somewhere in my pocket. Okay. So Melanie. Melanie is, this is not new news to you if you've been reading your emails or just been around. Melanie's been such a important, really the glue of our staff in many ways for a long time. And she plays such a key role and has recently graduated with her master's in counseling and is starting her own private practice. And a little bit of the timeline for that is at the end of the month. So at the end of June, beginning of July, she'll be launching out and doing that. And for that, we are really excited because Melanie already is a great counselor. She has been counseling for a while, but the world needs lots of good counselors, and Melanie's going to be and is amazing at it. And so we're excited for that for her. We are bummed and also reeling a little bit. Like, what are we going to do without Mel? And so we have just kind of opened this up, and we have an official job posting. You would have seen it in your email. And so if you're, basically what I'm throwing out here is to be thinking about it. If it's something that interests you, if it's something you're like, oh, I know somebody within our community, I know somebody who's not a part of our community who might be interested in this, we're really wanting to cast a broad net as we begin kind of the process of interviewing and of kind of gathering options for this. So, and we're trying to approach this with pretty open hands as well for what God might have for us and solutions for. The job posting is for a full-time position. I think that would be our hope and our desire. If it is something we need to break into part-time positions, I think that's something that we're open to. But we're kind of throwing out, like, this is our desire. This would be our hope, is to have somebody who'd be able to come in and do this. I should be super clear. the Miles family isn't going anywhere. Melanie's not going anywhere. And they're very much a part of this community, will very much remain a part of this community, and it's just a transition in vocation for her. So she's graciously offered to be available and helping us transition that. So if we're able to fill that position before the end of the month, being able to help get somebody onboarded as well, and then beyond that, as she's available, to help us transition as well. But she'll be picking up her hours kind of to full speed ahead in July. So that's a little bit of the update that way. So if you've got interest there, those inquiries can come my way. And if you want to see that job posting, it's available through our email and kind of spread out online. So there was something else I was going to say along those lines, and it has slipped my mind, so I don't remember. Maybe it will come back. Just as a way of segueing, tonight sometimes it feels like there's themes to like what's going on at Union Chapel, and it feels like, kind of just sitting in the back, like we've presented a lot of need to you, right? And there's about 20 of us in the room, and maybe another 20 online. So part of that is that I don't want you walking away feeling super overwhelmed. I want you paying attention to like, what does God have for me and my involvement and my family's involvement here, but to also be thinking about maybe part of our role here tonight is to be people who are catalysts of encouraging others into those spaces as well, recognizing like way more need has been expressed here tonight than this group of people could even come close to addressing, right? And so what are the relationships? This meeting is a helpful touch point for our community to be able to express these things that we don't express on a Sunday morning. But if they just kind of go out here and then die and dissipate, then it's hard to let our community know about those things unless people are coming back and watching the video and some of those things. So what I would say is you are all now hereby made ambassadors of Union Chapel to be thinking and praying about these things. There's so much goodness that's happening here in the life of our community. And the need isn't this like, hey, we're drowning sort of need. It's like God is doing really beautiful things, and there's a lot of ways to be a part of what that looks like in our community, with kids, with youth, with deacons, with groups, just kind of across the board. And so I hope you feel a sense of not feeling, I wouldn't want you walking away feeling overburdened, but hopefully a sense of excitement and a sense of like, who is in my sphere of influence that I could share some of this with as well, because I think that'll be worth its weight in gold as you consider yourself an ambassador now, as you have been commissioned. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We'll make a little space for questions if anybody's got them, and our staff and our deacons and our elders, I'm sure, would be happy to jump in on addressing some of this too. But if there's anything from tonight, and those of you online as well, if you have any questions, you're welcome to type those out. But anything that has been addressed tonight or not, anything you have on your mind, you're welcome to ask away. We'll do our best to respond. That's what the R is for. We may not have an answer, but we will give a response. Yeah. Wow, we just really covered it. Tonight. Thank you all for being here on a hot June Sunday night. It means a lot that you come and be a part of this conversation. So, last call. Okay. As always, you can, Tim doesn't get to do his favorite job, moving the microphone around.
He was so ready.
He's pouting.
He was so ready. He's so sad, guys.
Okay, well, let me just go ahead and close in prayer then. As always, if you have any questions that you come to you later that feel more appropriate to just address personally, we're happy to help with any of that. But thank you for being here and being a part. Let me pray. God, we thank you for the gift that you've given us in each other to journey towards Christ-likeness together, to be an expression of your body here in this place, in this time, on this block, on this street, in this city. Our hearts are grateful, and we also understand the responsibility that is, as we want to be witnesses of your kingdom, which is here and is yet to come in its fullness. And so we ask that you would continue to make us a humble people, a faithful people, people who care deeply for each other, people who sacrificially love and express those realities, not just in our individual lives, but in the life that is expressed in our togetherness. We pray for each of these aspects in the life of our community. You tell us to ask, and so we're coming to ask that you would help provide from within the very giftings you've given to this community all that is needed for sustaining it, for growing, for caring for each other. We're grateful that you see each aspect of our need and that you hear our prayers. As we go tonight, we ask for your blessing on this evening, the time shared together with our families, with friends, time even alone. God, we are grateful for all of it. And so we offer up all of this to you for your glory in your name. Amen. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great night.